Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or The Notorious Fantasy, and in today's video, I am bringing you guys wide receiver busts for fantasy football in 2020. These are a couple of guys that right now I just do not like their ADP, or I just downright do not like the player that I'm going to be talking about today. So before I get in the video, I'd like to ask you guys, could please go down below and click that subscribe button. It is free, it costs you nothing, and what it's going to get you is a fantasy football championship. You better believe that. We don't stop making content on here once every single day until the season ends. So that's what we got. So wide receiver bust 2020. The first wide receiver I want to talk about here is Odell Beckham Jr., OBJ of the Cleveland Browns, pick number 32, wide receiver number 11. Now in 2019, he finished wide receiver number 31 overall, and in points per game, he was wide receiver number 38 in an offense which already has plenty of talent around him. Landry, Hooper, Njoku, Chubb, Hunt. All right, he is one of the many cooks in the kitchen without Freddie Kitchens now. All right, I am worried about the fact that there is so much talent on this Cleveland Browns team. And another thing that worries me is the Browns bring in Kevin Stefanski, former offensive coordinator of the Minnesota Vikings, and he was 29th in pass plays in 2019. Now, I know what you might be thinking. How could he not pass it more if they have such talented wide receivers? Who did they have in Minnesota? They had Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs, two of the most talented wide receivers in the NFL on the same team. Obviously now, Mr. Diggs got his way shipped off to the Buffalo Bills. But with that said, Odell Beckham in 8 out of 16 of his games. He played every single game last season and had under 10 points in 8 out of 16 of those games. So do you really want your wide receiver number 11, a guy that you're likely going to have to pick in the 3rd or 4th round, a potential guy that many people see as a wide receiver 1, have 8 out of 16 of his games under 10 points? Now, you might be thinking he has to get better. That was his first year in the offense, and I don't care about that. Odell Beckham Jr. is just not that good anymore. He made one catch a couple of years ago to put his name on the map. He was good on the Giants. But with that said, he's been overhyped ever since. Do not draft Odell Beckham Jr. where he's getting picked. Even if he falls, I am likely taking a lot of guys over him strictly because I just do not believe in Odell Beckham Jr. I think that Cleveland is going to be a much better team this year, but that is going to be because they're running the ball. Like I said, they run the ball probably 60 to 65% of the time, 30 to 35 touches for the running backs, Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. So I'm not going to trust Odell Beckham Jr. here, especially when they added in Austin Hooper, who is going to take off even more targets for a guy like Odell Beckham Jr. So the next guy to talk about here is Amari Cooper, Dallas Cowboys wide receiver, pick number 26, wide receiver number 8. Now, that is where he's going in these drafts, obviously. So right now, or last season, he was wide receiver number 10 in 2019, wide receiver number 15 in points per game. So that might sound nice and dandy. And those stats do sound good. But Cowboys were ranked 12th in run percentage in the NFL. So top 1/3, near top 1/3 of rushing in the NFL in 2019. He thrives against these bad teams, but he disappears when it matters most. When he's going up against a team like New England, they shut him down. They shut Amari Cooper down. He is hot, and then he's cold. He is very inconsistent. He has amazing games. Then the next game, he absolutely disappears. He is sleeping on your lineup, and not a good sleeper that you draft late in the draft that wins you a championship, a guy that you draft way too early and ends up raw dogging your ass way too many times in the season. So I am not trusting Amari Cooper. Now, I am going to show you some stats here to even further solidify my point on Amari Cooper. Now, if you look at these stats right here, you can see his games, all of his games in 2019. Right here, you can see at the beginning of the season, he started off strong, 22, 14, 26, and then 9 points, then 39 points, then 1 point, 15, 18, 31, 6, 0. He put up a goose egg up against the New England Patriots. They threw the ball to him twice, and Stephon Gilmore locked his ass down. Then the next week, 16 points, 20 points, 2.9 points, 6.4 points, 13.8 points. So in your fantasy football playoffs, week 14, 15, and 16, he went for 20, and then 2, and then 6.4. Do you want that in your fantasy football wide receiver 1? Do you want that in a guy you are going to be drafting as pick number 26 and wide receiver number 8? If you answer yes to that question, I am very shocked that you believe that. Amari Cooper is one of those guys that will win you a week. Every couple of weeks, you can see it. 30 points, 26 points. Games like that win you weeks. But he also will individually fuck your roster completely over. He dropped a goose egg in a game. Most elite talented wide receivers that most think are wide receiver ones don't drop goose eggs no matter who the fucking corner is going against him. Devontae Parker made Stephon Gilmore his bitch, all right? Do not draft Amari Cooper in 2020. Just don't do it. I don't believe in Amari Cooper. If you guys got any argument for Amari Cooper, please leave it down below in the comments section. So the next guy I want to talk about here is wide receiver of the LA Superchargers, Keenan Allen, pick number 45 in fantasy football drafts, and wide receiver number 18. Now, last season, he finished wide receiver number 6, and he was points per game wide receiver number 8. So he's clearly a talented player. He's clearly a good fantasy football option in the past. But my reason for putting him as a bust could completely change just next week or closer to the season. It could completely change. But right now, the quarterback play worries me. Tyrod Taylor is their starting quarterback, and there has been conflicting reports on whether Ty God is their guy or not. There's been reports, holy shit, we love Tyrod, we're fine with sticking with him. Then there's other reports, they need Tua. They want this guy. They want this guy. They hate Tyrod. So I don't know what's going to happen. If they draft Tua or Herbert, Keenan Allen will be fine. If they pick up Jameis Winston, he will be fine. But if it is Tyrod Taylor, like I can 100% see happening, don't touch Keenan Allen. Tyrod Taylor is not that good of a quarterback. Some people will believe, oh, he did good. Baker Mayfield beat him out for his job. And Baker Mayfield is not the greatest quarterback, in case you haven't noticed. Keenan Allen is going to be a fine wide receiver in fantasy football, but wide receiver number 18 is too high for me when right now I see very limited safety and very limited upside in this Chargers offense. That could completely change, like I said, when we were looking at this in August. But as of right now, Keenan Allen, if you're doing a best ball draft, I am not touching him at all for 2020 as of right now. The next guy to bring up here is Mr. Injury Prone, Mr. Turf Toe, AJ Green, Cincinnati Bengals, pick number 77, wide receiver number 30. Now, he looks like a sleeper here, pick number 77, and that's what people thought last year. People thought, oh my God, AJ Green's going to come back. I love this value late in drafts. Now, if you picked him last year, you probably slapped yourself in the face multiple times because he never fucking played in 2019. In the last 4 years, he played 35 out of a possible 64 games. So he played just above half of his games. How can you trust this guy? Even at pick 76, even in the 6th or 7th round where you were drafting this guy, the 8th round, don't fucking touch him. There is no upside with this guy. He will likely, if he plays, he'll be out by like week 6 because this guy just loves getting hurt. He injured his toe 4 times. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 times since 2014, which is the past 6 years. His chance of injury in 2020, according to the sportsinjurypredictor.com, which is pretty reliable. I used them last year in order to tell you guys not to draft AJ Green, and I'm here to tell you it again, 53.6% chance of injury. That's not very good. There is a half chance that he gets injured, and I say it's probably a 100% chance that he misses at least a couple of games in this season. I'm not even sure if he is going to be a Bengal. If they franchise tagged his ass, he may want his way out. Sure, Joe Burrow will influence this offense, and sure, that might make AJ Green want to come back, but AJ Green's want to come back does not matter because his foot, his leg, his toe will not let him. So the final guy to talk about in this video is Jarvis Juice Landry, wide receiver of the Cleveland Browns. Now, he is currently pick number 86 and wide receiver number 33 going off in the NFL draft, or not the NFL draft, the fantasy football draft, my bad. He had hip surgery in February. Now, he should be back by the start of the season. Should. I've seen reports that tell me he may miss much longer than they have been reporting. He may miss into October. Now, even if he's back, say he comes back, he's perfectly healthy, 100%, same old Jarvis from the beginning of last season. He was wide receiver number 14 in 2019 and wide receiver number 12 in points per game. Now, the reason why I don't like him is the exact same argument for all other Cleveland Browns players besides Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. They are going to run the fucking ball a million times. They are going to hand it off as often as possible. Jarvis Landry is a talented wide receiver in the NFL, but I just do not believe at all that this will be the year that Jarvis Landry plays great again. If Odell gets hurt, maybe Jarvis will be good. If Jarvis isn't playing, maybe Odell will be good. But with them both likely seeming like they'll be there at least for more than half the season, I don't want anything to do with either of those Cleveland wide receivers. If you guys like Jarvis or Odell, let me know down below in the comment section. So if you guys ended up enjoying this video, those were all the wide receivers I have for you today. Please click that subscribe button down below. I'm going to be coming with more content every single goddamn day. And in August and during the season, it's like 3 videos a day plus some live streams. So you are not going to want to miss out. Let me know your take on these guys down below in the comments. Click the subscribe button on your screen, the video above, the video to the left, and the video to the top left. I love each and every single one of you guys. Make sure you have a great rest of your day. Goodbye.